I will start in the meantime. So it's a pleasure to be here today with you in front of Manhattan. And if you look carefully, you should be able to see Central Park and also Statue of Liberty. I don't know if you see them. And if you actually see them, it's because images, satellite images, are getting smaller and smaller resolution. But of course, smaller resolution means bigger images. And bigger images mean longer processing. And this is why we have been partnering together with CNES and also with Azure in order to reduce the time of processing. The resolution of the Sentinel-2 satellite launched in 2016 is like 10 meters. And now in military satellites, we are at a resolution of 2 to 3 centimeters. Of course, it's a confidential information. And this increase in precision of image satellite will, of course, increase the need for high throughput computing in order to be able to do the processing. So it's my pleasure to be here today with Erwan Poupart. So I will just introduce in one slide what actually Activeon is doing. So we go all the way from the left into proposing high-level workflows which make it possible for people which are business people with knowledge of the satellite in this situation to define how to do the processing. And we do that multi-languages, multi-framework. And of course, in open source within OW2. And then we propose scheduling and meta-scheduling, which means like in the CNES use case, we will be using a native PBS cluster to do part of the processing. But we will also do cloud processing, in that case, onto Azure. Okay, so we do scheduling, meta-scheduling, and at the very bottom, what you see is the capacity for Activeon to manage on-premises cluster, server, VMware, OpenStack, but also cloud like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Platform. Okay, so it's a full-fledged solution that goes from high-level, very expressive, multi-languages workflow, scheduling, meta-scheduling, management of resource. And it used to be that management of resource was not very important. It's becoming very crucial at the era of cloud. Because now with cloud, you pay your resources. And we will see that Activeon can do dynamic provisioning of the cloud resources only based on the load, the need to be processing some images in that case. And of course, this will reduce the bill of our customer. So let's move to this nice picture of CNES, and Erwan will introduce the CNES, and will then present what we've been achieving together.
So the data processing at CNES, we have two main use cases. We are doing some numerical simulations, which is highly CPU intensive for example, for launchers, to design antennas and so on. So it uses highly parallel MPI codes and so on. So on HPC cluster, we have our own cluster with currently 8,000 cores. And we have another use case which is also very important for CNES activities, which is data processing, where we process generally images taken from space, or it can be images where instruments are looking at Earth, like optical satellites and so on, or instruments that are taking images towards the sky, for example, astronomical experiments. So about the PEPS project, PEPS project is related to Copernicus Copernicus Data. You probably are aware of this project. Here we are a community in OW2 interested in open source sharing and so on. Copernicus is about open data, so I think also open data is an interesting point, and we can have synergy between open source and open data. And open data is relatively new in space community. Before data, to use data, you have to pay, or you have some access very difficult to have, for example, for military data or high precision data, which is understandable. You can understand that. Now, Copernicus can provide a lot of Earth observation data for free, and it's a huge amount of data because, in fact, those satellites scan all the Earth, each day repetitively and provide the data continuously. So it's a big difference with what we've done before, because if in oldest mission the data was acquired only with a plan mission, so at some occurrence of time, not repetitively. So now, as an example, 20 years of SPOT produce only 1 petabyte of data, and with Copernicus data, in 2 years we have already 7 petabytes, so around 7 million of images. The data for the moment are coming from Sentinel-1, Sentinel-2, and Sentinel-3. Sentinel-1 is a radar observation, Sentinel-2 optical, and Sentinel-3 altimetry data. So the goal of PEPS is to promote and help to diffuse this data and also to process it. So now we are going to speak about processing capacity. We are interested in cloud capacity because of the capability to burst the processing outside of our cluster, because we have limited capacity. We cannot afford to accept too much user, too much processing. So it's interesting for us to be able to burst somewhere else. So about the PEPS architecture, in fact, we have the main use cases are scientific ones. So we have some scientists that want to process data chains, and we use different means to provide the CPU processing for them. We have got an HPC that we can see a cluster on-premise capacity. We've got some specific nodes, and we've got a lot of data to process, and to access to this data, we've got an instance of proactive application to provide access to this computing facility. And we made a recent experiment to extend it to cloud capacity. So we made this experiment on Azure Cloud, and it worked. We obtained a great success in the processing. We could burst exactly the same workflow that we are running on our on-premise capacity, and it ran exactly in the same way on Azure. Alors, I will just show a few slides, static demo. There is a live demo just in the cafe zone that I can show. About the image processing workflow that we have run, it's a classical one that we run at CNES to provide analysis ready data. In fact, it takes as input Sentinel-1 data coming from satellites, so it's level 1, as we called it at CNES. That is, we make, in fact, a geometric transformation to transform the data that can be that is at the end georeference, and you can put it on a map, and each pixel has a position on Earth, and then it can be easily usable by, for example, a big data application to provide more valuable information. I have example that I can show you after. So there are few steps. The first step is to get the data from our portal, which is peps.cnes.fr, and then the processing and the final steps to push the results at the destination. So how do we process for this workflow? If we have a need to burst on the cloud, we prepare Azure resource through Activeon application. So it's a very interesting capacity for us to provide inside our computing facility external resources. So we see here internal resources that are busy, and we have added some clouded resources, and we see them in the same way compared to our internal resources. And then we launch the workflow, and the workflow can run on our CPU or cloud CPU in the same way. So it's a very good result of these experiments is that this workflow can work everywhere in the same way. So about the process to acquire the data, we have only a few information to give to the application, like the number of VM we want to have, the model of the VM, the number of cores, the storage shared by the different VM to get the data. And then in blue, the resources are deploying, and a few minutes later, a quarter of an hour, the VM are ready to run, and we can launch the workflow. So it's only some picture to see the workflow running. One important point also is about proactive capacity is the workflow concept, because in fact we have low-level services Dockerized, for example, the authentication tasks based on open software tools. I can promote it. It is called Orfeo Toolbox, and it is an open software also dedicated to space data processing that can be used to build chains of data and produce some results. And which is interesting with this workflow capacity is that you can compose different lower level service Dockerized, and to build a higher level service that is accessed through WPS. WPS is a standard from EGC that enables to launch a process in a standard way through HTTP interfaces. And in fact, what we've done with WPS is transfer the processing to proactive through its also HTTP interface. After that, the resource manager can be used, and we see here that many cores are busy, and we can use the resource as needed. So it's interesting for us because the use of open data, we are not sure that to be able to respond to the demand of processing. So if the cloud is here, it can help us to have a response. So here it's a possibility of proactive to provide dynamically more VM if required. About the results of this task, it was Sentinel data processed with georeferenced, and this processing also puts the data on the Sentinel grid so that you can superpose the two data. Below you see the radar information, which is less readable, but very readable for radarists. And you can see that the circles superpose very good, so that the geometric transformation has succeeded. It's a good check that the process has run very efficiently. It seems this processing to georeference data seems okay, but what can I do with this? In fact, it's very important because this step is necessary to be able to process it later and provide some value-added information. In fact, many people, if the data provided by the satellites is not usable like that, you have to make some transformation. And with this data georeference, you can make the step you see there to after do some big data processing like classification and build some, for example, GeoRISE maps on many other applications are possible. So this data could be put into a big data framework somewhere to build any type of application. So give access to this, give access to many application possible, and we can build maps and see where there is rice or not rice, or where there is water or not water. You can evaluate the evolution of water in lakes and so on. So there are many applications possible, and I think it's important to say that today. Some benefits of Activeon, if I have just a few seconds. I have already told them, but for us, it's a way to have the same interface with any different computing facilities. So we've developed our workflow, and we don't care what is the computing facility behind. We can compare the different capabilities. So it's very powerful for us. And the other very powerful thing is the workflow editor, which is able to compose new processing data chains, and it can work anywhere in the same way. So with those concepts, it helps us to diffuse the processing and to diffuse the data anywhere we need. About WPS, I've told about it, so I can go fast. And just to wrap up, if you want to add a point, but I think we have said the most important point before. So, any question?
Thank you.